All right, away we go on the podcast on this glorious, glorious Thursday. What's up, Al?
Oh, hi there, Jerry. So I saw this thing on Facebook. A woman named Lynn Austin, Jerry. It was her birthday.
Okay.
She is known as the original Hooters girl.
Oh, cool.
So it was also strange because when I was what I felt was a little kid, and again, this is going to be one of these situations where
Not so much.
where I feel like I was much younger than the person,
Yeah.
but the person was just way more mature than me at
All
the
right, so
time.
let me guess real
Yeah.
quick. I'm going to say she was 18 and you were 15.
Well, actually, I'm not 100% sure what her
Okay.
age was. I guess I could Google her real quick and tell you her age. But the story I wanted to tell was that this woman was the very first Hooters girl. And then she appeared in Playboy Magazine.
Oh, okay.
But it was a Playboy Magazine that my friend and I stole from when we were newspaper delivery boys. There was one guy that would get Playboy. And if it was there when we delivered, we would steal it.
That poor guy. And how was he supposed to make that call with his wife in the house?
I don't know. But that was the thing. He was having it delivered to his house. Let me see. She is 64 years old, Jerry.
So she's 9 years older than
9
you.
years. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better because I feel like I was a young paper boy when she was in Playboy Magazine.
Yeah, I mean, if she was in Playboy at, let's say, 20, you were 11. You were a young boy.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
But then when I moved to Florida
Mhm.
to work on the radio, she had a show on that station.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, and she came in studio to do the
Yes.
show. It wasn't syndicated, nothing
No,
like that.
she was in the studio.
Did you
every
talk
day.
to her or?
I was very bashful and shy because I had
So you did not?
stolen her Playboy. I was, hi, how are you? Oh, hi there. I don't think I ever told her I stole a Playboy magazine.
Yeah,
with
she
her,
probably
right?
heard that a million times.
Probably.
Mhm.
But yeah, she used to do Hooters on the radio,
Interesting.
which was these three former Hooters girls, and they would do sports talk.
It was sports talk?
Well,
Really?
actually, you know what? I take that back. It was Hooters on the radio first, and it was at a different station. It was this Lynn, it was BL, and it was Fez from the Ron and Fez show.
No kidding.
Because Fez would work with Ron and Ron from 6 to 10 a.m. And then at 10 a.m., he would have to host Hooters on the radio with these
It's amazing.
two women.
Man, the way these careers are so intersected.
Yeah. But then when they moved to a sports station, they became the Sports Chicks, sponsored by Hooters. So they were on the radio there.
And then they dropped sports. They became the Chicks, big time country music stars.
The different chicks, but yeah,
know.
very similar
know.
similar path.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday to her, 64. So she
64.
shares the birthday with Boomer?
I guess she shares a well, no, I think her birthday was yesterday.
I'm sorry. Oh, it was yesterday. Okay.
Yesterday, yeah.
Good for her.
Still looks pretty good, Jerry.
I'm sure she did. I'm not surprised. The more I see these things between Sofia Vergara, is that how I say her name?
Vergara.
She's 52,
Yeah.
doing these bikini shots all over the place. You see,
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the shape
Jerry.
some women are still, and men are still in.
And this Lynn Austin, she married Darren Dalton many years ago.
Really? The MLB
Phillies,
player.
The MLB player. They were then divorced, and he's sadly passed a number of years ago.
Darren Dalton died?
Yeah.
Is that true? I didn't know.
Died a couple years ago.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Did you ever steal Playboy magazines?
I did not.
Did you ever obtain Playboy magazines?
No. I had a friend of mine that used to, I don't know where he got them from. I don't know if he got them from his dad, like a week after his dad was done with whatever he did with them.
Yeah.
He was the guy who always, if you wanted to see or if you were hanging out, that's where they would be. But no.
It is amazing how far we've come in our pornography.
Oh, it's
right.
Far.
Like guys used to whack it to Playboy magazine. People now, like kids now, be like, "Do what with this? This is just a picture in a magazine. What am I supposed to do with this?" You know what I mean? Like our pornography has really just went. Whoop.
A lot has come far though. Also, the way we talk about sex, I feel like in 2025 compared to 1985 is a little bit different. What is more acceptable in 2025 compared to 1985 is a lot different.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea, I think obviously in the 80s, we knew, even as, I think in 85, I was 11. So you were 16 or 17.
85, I was 16.
Right. I mean, we knew that there were gay couples, but it wasn't something that people, promote's not the right word, publicized. It was still something that people kind of hid. Now, I don't even think twice when I see a gay couple walking down the street, whereas maybe 40 years ago as a kid, I might have, It's just different. Like society is different, and the way what we accept now is we're more accepting of a lot than we were 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And better than saying accepting, it's normal. It's not abnormal anymore to see two men or two women together.
And then there was a time when there were porn stars. Like you would know the names of the pornography.
So Jenna Jameson.
Yeah.
Like that would be a name that is ingrained in my head. And I got to be honest with you. And I'm not, of course, I've seen a lot. I don't know that I've actually ever seen one with her. But that name, Jenna Jameson, Ron Jeremy, those two names are top of mind when you hear, adult films or pornography.
Yeah. They would be your power couple if they ever got together, Jerry.
Did they or no?
I don't know. I imagine they did. I think back then when they were both
at the top of their game.
Yeah, they probably
are. Those two still alive?
I know Jenna Jameson is still alive, but she went through a long illness, some sort of autoimmune illness or something or other. But she, I believe, is still alive.
Now that you say that, we might have done that on the podcast 10 years ago or when we first started. I vaguely remember that.
I believe she is still. Let me check on those two.
What about Ron Jeremy?
I think they're both still alive. Let me check Jenna Jameson first, Jerry.
Ron Jeremy, he's the one that looks like Danny DeVito, right?
He's just just not an attractive man. So Jenna Jameson is.
So how does
51 years old?
She's my age?
Correct. That's right, Jerry.
Whoa.
51 years old. Yeah. My goodness. She was in the Howard Stern movie. Do you remember that? She was the girl that came in
speaker?
And got naked to get on the speaker.
You know what, Al? I've seen that movie 10 times. I never knew that was her. Wow.
She's lived some life. Now, you asked about Ron Jeremy, Jerry. You want to know if he's still alive.
So how is it? You explain to me how someone, as you just, what did you say? He's not very attractive.
Ron Jeremy's, he was actually, his nickname was the Hedgehog because that's what he looked like.
How does he become popular at that then?
Well, I've heard him interviewed, and he said that back then there were not a lot of men that were able to perform as he did in front of a camera for the length of time needed.
Oh.
And so he was sought after.
Imagine being a gorgeous girl getting into the business and they're like, and here's your partner today.
Yeah.
Him?
You have to make sweet love to this man. He is alive, Jerry, and 72 years old.
72. Okay.
Yep. He was born right here in Queens, New York, Jerry. But I think there's no, I was going to say I don't think there's any more porn stars, but there's probably people listening to this going, he's a big star, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And
I'm sure. Well, if you're into it every day, of course.
Yeah, but I just feel like there's so much free pornography that you don't, like you used to know the Vivid girls, or I did at least.
I did not, but okay.
The Vivid girls, Jerry, they were the most beautiful of all the women. Like if you were a Vivid girl, you were
Give me
stunning.
one name that you think I would know.
Well, Jenna Jameson was a Vivid girl. Raquel Darrian was a Vivid girl, Jerry.
No.
That was my favorite.
That's a name I feel like I would have remembered too.
That was my favorite porno actress.
I thought you call it porno actress.
Raquel Darrian.
Why don't you call her an adult film star?
Or adult film star, yeah. Interestingly enough, most of her career in pornography, she only did scenes with her husband, who was also a porno star.
Again, with porno. You sound like it's 1963.
But this is when, like, my friend Paul worked in the Dollar Video in Iselin, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mom and pop shop, and they had a back room pornography. And the way that the system worked at that place was you would find an empty box on the shelf, you'd walk it up, and Paul would, like if you were renting Top Gun, you would then put the empty Top Gun box in the back where the slot where the cassette was. So then that way there was no one in the store that would pick up the Top Gun, and then it didn't exist.
Right.
So we thought, we were smart, Paul and I. We said, we could take the pornos and just take them off the shelf and take the pornos, and then no one would know that they were, because no one was going to come in to the store and go, do you have a hot gun? And look it up in the system. It says it's here.
Right.
And then we would borrow it, and then we would return it.
So you got to look at a lot of them
in that era. But that was, I feel like, a different era
Where'd
of pornography.
You watch them?
In my house.
Where were your parents?
Oh, they were in the room.
I'm sorry, what was this?
No, this is when they would
In the room.
people would go to sleep.
Oh, at night, I got you.
I'd be like, let me pop this in.
And your sisters never knew where you were or what you were doing?
No.
Okay.
I guess not. Well, my one sister was probably out of the house already.
Okay.
She was moved out.
Like I said, I've seen plenty, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But never in my house. Never in my house. Just because I've never been the one to stay up the latest ever. So I was never outlasting people to bed. It just wasn't happening. My sister was older, so she was always up late. And there was no chance those opportunities didn't present themselves in my house. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because I used to first stay up and try to watch those like Showtime late night movies.
Yeah.
Man, you would wait around and barely get a boob, and then they'd be on to the next scene. You're like, what the?
Just wasted
is
your
this?
time.
What a waste of time.
Well, that's where you said you had Cinemax, right?
Well,
we never did.
I did not have Cinemax, but Showtime would do I know Cinemax always gets called Skinemax.
Yeah.
But Showtime would do the same thing. They would have these like 10 p.m. on a Saturday night movies. Like,
that's where you know about the ones you always talk about?
Yeah.
The French one?
Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Oh, that's it.
And Tender's Cousins.
Tender.
I think it meant Tender Cousins, which is probably weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anytime you're talking about a sex movie and Cousins is in the title, that's not great.
Well, I'd get very happy if I'd put the movie on that I knew was the 10 o'clock movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was overdubbed in a different language. I was like, oh, perfect.
This is going
to be French or something. They have better standards than we do here in America.
Oh, that's funny.
So I knew that if it was,
yeah.
I was like, okay, this is something.
Mm.
But all those people are probably dead who was in Tenderest Cousins.
Yeah. Sadly, yes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, even like, when CBS Sports Network is running alternate programming between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And it'll be something from 1984, or like we had that golf event the other day from 2003, which is only 22 years ago, and it didn't look all that old other than the shirts being baggy. You would see the crowd, and you would see older people in the crowd, and I sit there and think, I'm like, wow, there's no way they're here anymore. Like, they look like they're 80 then. Not many people make it to 100. Like,
yeah,
it's sad when you think of it in those terms.
I checked, Jerry. Raquel Darrian is alive. She's 56 years old.
Okay.
My age.
I still can't believe me and Jenna Jameson are the same age.
Yeah, look at us, Jerry. We have our own porno actresses that we...
Again with the porno.
have the same birth dates as.
Birth years.
Thank you, Jerry.
And Boomer's got his.
Boomer does have his. Yes, that's correct. Boy, she was very prolific film artist, Jerry.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm looking at her films. Although it looked like she was only doing one film a year. Nowadays, forget it. The girls.
I would not even want to know what that business is like right now.
Her film in 2008 was called Star 69.
How would you feel if you did a VRBO and you rented your place and then you found out it was used for pornography?
Oh, yeah, I would not like that.
And I don't know that you would know immediately either.
No, you wouldn't know.
You probably wouldn't. But what if it showed up on a video you're watching?
No, I don't want that.
Would that really bother you, right?
Yeah.
Would you have to move?
I wouldn't move, but I would have to remove all the furniture in my house and get new ones. And I would do a deep clean of the shower.
Even though you had been in there for months.
Right. Yes.
It still would bother you.
It would bother me, yeah.
That's funny. Because I'm sure that happens often.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I would think that people are renting out homes to do these things. And then people find out, wait, I rented it to, you did what?
Yeah. What was going on here?
Yeah.
How old were you in 1977?
2.
I was going to say, you guys were talking about
3. I'm sorry.
You guys were talking about the Sears catalog?
Yeah.
Which I love the Sears catalog.
Yeah, so did I.
NFL was the best stuff. So there was these NFL action figures. They came out in 1977. And I had a bunch of them, but they got all beat up because I played with them. They are worth a really good amount of money on eBay.
I'm sure.
Type in there, Jerry. Just type in 1977 action playmate, I think, or action playmaker.
1977 action players.
Action player, yeah. Do-do-do. Yeah,
So
you'll see them. And if you go to the images, you'll see them.
oh, yeah, I see 'em,
Did
yep.
you have one of these
No,
guys?
I don't believe I did.
Yeah.
I had Starting Lineup.
Yes.
Uh,
This came before those, yeah.
yeah, but when I was first of all, again, I was 3. So looking at look at this, an Oakland Raider action player from 19 $120.
Well, that's cheap. Most of them are like $300.
Yeah, the ones on so this is on L&L Collectibles.
Oh, okay.
So this isn't just
I
they're
know
all between 99 and 360.
I know on eBay they're very expensive because these figures, their internal organs were all rubber bands, and over time, rubber bands disintegrate.
Oh, I believe. Yeah, I'm looking at the back of it. I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of them either had to be reworked or or
Huh.
somehow you were storing them properly all these years later.
That is yeah, all right. So I'm looking on eBay now and I see the prices you're talking about where they're a little bit more. Well, yeah, I mean some of them are in the 100s, but yeah, some of them are really expensive. I guess it depends on the shape they're in too.
Yeah, it depends on the shape they're in, the team you have,
Yes.
whether you have a black guy or a white guy, because
Right.
you could choose.
Yeah, interesting. No, the first things I collected as a kid were the helmets out of the machine at the supermarket.
Those were the best.
Not only the football helmets, but the baseball helmets too.
Yes.
I loved collecting those. And the little Smurfs. When
Were
I
they
was
in the
like,
machine also, or you had to buy the Smurfs were at like KB Toy Store?
they were, yeah. And I remember to collect the collection. One year, my mom drove me and my brother around to like 4 different stores. I don't remember which one. It might have been Gargamel and the Cat. I don't remember what it was to complete the collection, but she took us one day to like 4 different stores, and the 4th
That's
one had it.
nice.
Yeah, those that's and baseball cards, tons of baseball cards, which I still have some, but they're not worth like it would have been if I was collecting in the 40s and 50s, obviously.
Why do
Those
you
are the 3 things I did.
Why do you think the baseball helmets in the gumball machine didn't catch on as much as the football helmets?
I don't know. The cool thing about the football helmets to me was the fact that you had to put the face mask on.
Yes,
I thought that was very neat, but I collected both of them pretty equally.
I did as well.
But I do agree with you that the football helmet was more popular. I don't know why.
And I think definitely with the baseball helmet, you had to put the decal on.
You had to put the decal on all of them.
On the football too?
Oh yeah. If I remember that correct, because I remember, yeah, absolutely. Because I think I put the star on the Cowboys like off center once.
Oh, right, and then you're screwed.
Yes,
Because you can't unpeel it or it's gonna yeah, that happened to me.
Yep.
Yeah, those are great.
They were great.
And I remember I was a huge Cowboy fan. The first one I ever pulled out of a machine was a Cowboy helmet.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Not me.
And then I don't think I ever pulled another Cowboy
Wow.
in all the years.
How about that?
Yeah.
I know I remember I got the Bears a lot. Why? And the Patriots. Why I remember that I don't know, but I felt like I got them. And you would look in the machine before you put the quarter in to see which one you thought you were going to get. And ultimately, it was never what you thought because the one that you got was kind of sitting there waiting to be released.
Right. It was already it was already out of sight.
Correct. It was waiting for the things to open. To shoot right down.
Like,
That would be. It was Pathmark is where my mom did the food shopping most of the time. And right out of the checkout line, depending upon which one she picked, because they were in the middle. They weren't more towards the door. They were like right in the middle. And there would be sometimes my mom would take one of the registers more closer to the door and we would just leave. Anytime we were middle or left, we always stopped. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if my mom always stopped.
Yeah, I say always. It wasn't always, but it was often.
Because now we would think, oh, a quarter, who cares?
Yeah, but a quarter then is probably at least again, not a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but it's at least $1 now. At least has to be more. We're talking about 40 years, and a cocktail at a bar right now is $20.
Yes, at least.
So it's got to be 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
What do you think in 1985? Do you think a vodka tonic was $20?
No.
Or do you think it was like $2 or $3, and the beer was 50 cents
in 85?
Yeah. I bet you a mixed drink was $3-4 tops, and the beer was 50 cents
for a draft. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, those were the good old days, Jerry, where you could watch a softcore Showtime porno, get a helmet out of the machine, have a 50-cent draft.
And there's a Friday.
That was just for kids. That was just for young kids, Jerry.
Yeah, the good old days. Al.
Yeah. So if anybody has one of those 1977 Action Teammates laying around, or action playmakers or the action
Action
teammate.
players.
This says action teammate.
Oh, I see it.
That's what
Yeah.
it actually is. The action teammate.
Yep.
NFL action teammate 1977.
Yep.
If you have those, I'm telling you, and you just find one in your basement or
Then
in
you're
your
doing that
attic,
right.
you can put that on eBay. It does not matter what shape it's in. It could be
People want them.
It could be just the foot.
Yeah.
And someone will buy that from you.
You ever watch Pawn Stars? I know we've talked about that.
Many years ago I did. I have not watched it in a long time.
It's amazing to me what is deemed valuable, or I should say what people come in thinking they've got like they're holding on to something that's worth like 20 grand. And I love the fact that maybe in some cases it is, and in some cases they do get the money, but I love that people walk in there just thinking they're going to get a check written to them for $20,000.
Yeah.
It's really something. It makes me think like, how much money are these guys making buying and selling crap? It's interesting.
Yeah, I also sometimes I'll be like at a flea market. There's one in Ocean Grove that has sometimes really old stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sometimes surprised at how cheap something is considering how long it's been around. So it'd be like this is a doorknob from the Asbury Hotel in 1842.
Right. Why is that not worth $500,000?
Right.
I know.
And they'll be like, it's $1. $1.
Well, but that's where a lot of people go find hidden treasures like that if they know better.
Yeah.
And they can find where online that there's a market for it.
I know this is what I'm trying to keep my eye open. I want to start going to garage sales so I could see if I could find NFL action.
Al, I have a friend of mine that is a retired police officer, and he's one of these great guy. He went into the force when he was 20, retired at 40, maybe 41. And now he's in his 50s. And he did this just to not be bored. He decided to stay busy, that he was going to go to estate sales, flea markets, garage sales, and just look for things that he started with sports memorabilia. And he was making such good money doing it. He made it a business, and he does great. Like, I mean, great. It's amazing to think that would be something that could pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And not that he even needs it because of his pension, but I'm telling you, he has killed it doing that, buying and selling stuff.
Yeah. That's what I might do when I retire. I might focus on NFL action teammates.
It's going to take a lot of your time because you're not going to find many of them.
That's the thing. I'm going to really take a lot of time.
That is true.
All right, Jerry, let's do the warm-up show. You may be back tomorrow hosting. We'll see how Boomer is. Otherwise, if you're not hosting, we'll see you on the warm-up show.
Sounds good.
5:00.
It's Friday.
Holla. So